Now, heads of state, business leaders, and even Pope Francis will gather in Dubai later this month for the UN Climate Summit COP28. And ahead of that, public relations giant Edelman released a special trust barometer report on climate change. And a whopping 93% of nearly 14,000 people surveyed from in 14 countries said they believe the issue is posing an imminent or serious threat to our planet. The report also finds that NGOs are the most trusted institution at 58%, while just 49% of respondents said they trust businesses to do what's right on the issue. Media, sadly, is at the bottom with 44%. Wowzers, we don't want to talk too much about that. Edelman CEO Rich Edelman joins us now. Richard, fantastic to have you on as always. You know, the great news, and you can dig down into the details of this again, is that it feels like virtually everyone that you surveyed was worried. I mean, 93% is a huge stat. They recognise the threat to their families, to their lifestyles. And 2/3 of people, too, which stood out to me, recognise that weather has got more extreme. That's what they're pinpointing.
So, Julia, I think the most important finding in this study is optimism generates behavior change. And we're going into COP on the wrong foot. By 2.5 to 1, people are more pessimistic than they are optimistic. But we can get to optimism if people have trust in institutions. And they get that by tangible achievement of their commitments.
Okay, so I'm going to push back on that because I sort of agree with you, but then I look at the statistics and I'm like, oh dear. Because when you're saying that of the 77% that are worried about climate change, just 22% are hopeful that we can overcome the challenges. I get your point. The problem is there's a lot of convincing still required.
So I think we have to move from fear to hope. We have to show tangible steps that companies are taking or that governments are doing. I was reading a story today about heating units that are now slow to be put into homes because there's confusion about government funding. We've got to give clear information. We've got to give a clear path on supply chain. We've got to make it easy for consumers to choose the right kinds of products. They have to feel it's good for them and good for the world.
Yeah, and this is actually something that stood out to me as well. 8 out of 10 people of those that want to be greener, and many of them do, are saying their biggest impediment is cost. And I think that's a lack of education, both from companies and from policymakers, that in many cases we're at the relative break-even point for technologies like wind power, for solar power. People just don't realise it yet, and they don't have enough access and the upfront payment to be able to make to invest in this. Even if longer term they'd be better off than using combustion energies. We're there, we just don't realise it.
So again, I think business, which has relatively low trust on sustainability, needs to partner with NGOs and government, not push them away, to work together to make it clear that this is the right kind of choice to a better personal life as well as a better planet. And we've got to be very clear in our communication that this is good for me and not just good for the world.
How can we help as media, Richard? Because I sort of made a joke about that, but the least trusted on this, apparently, media, and we'll incorporate social media. And I'm going to come back to that point because I've got another topic of conversation with you on that. But what role does media and information play in this? Because there is misinformation and there's confusion for people trying to understand who needs to act and how, and feeling that positive impact, to your point about optimism.
2/3 of our respondents said that they find the media deeply negative, that you're reporting about all the floods and the heat waves, and those are all true. But fear has reached its logical extent of making people change their minds. We've got the awareness. Now we have to get them to act, and we have to do this by showing, even if it's small steps forward. And I love, for example, what the fashion industry is doing in creating a consortium to move from fast fashion to sustainable fashion. We have to show also the consumer the labels such that we know that's the right kind of supply chain.
Yeah. And let's also show the view of the positive steps that are being made, and the businesses in particular that are taking steps and acting in a positive way, rather than bombing people and bombarding people with the bad news. Can I ask you about an article that was on CNN.com? Claire Duffy is the writer, and it's saying that CNN is showing that Meta will allow political ads on its platform that question the results of the 2020 election. It's a change that's been made. So it's a rollback on the content moderation that we've seen over the past year as we head into the presidential elections in 2024. So just to make it really simple, basically they're going to profit or make money from ads that promote false claims about the result of the 2020 election. To the point about trust in media, Richard, some part of this breaks my heart. A rollback of moderation that's already inadequate.
So again, I think Meta's done a lot in improving its moderation, and the theory is that people have the right to see ads for candidates or political views, and that they can make their own judgment. And I think that there's a really important role for media in making sure that the facts that are presented are clear and both sides.
Yeah, I'm just not sure that's going to happen. I mean, just to be clear, they're going to prohibit those ads that call into question the legitimacy of the upcoming or the impending election. So they're going to kill that in 2024, but they're going to allow the confusion over the result in 2020. That feels like having your cake and eating it.
Again, I think the smart companies will continue to lean in on moderation because everyone needs a safe platform in which to advertise and make their consumers feel as if the content that they're getting, both ad as well as earned, is worth their time.
Let's push it forward, Richard. Whatever it is, key for trust in 2024 as we close out this year. What are you going to be most focused on, do you think?
I think there's just a huge gap between science and society. And
Yeah.
I'm going to Abu Dhabi to COP28 to make the case for business and government and NGOs all to lean in on energy, on food, on tech, on health, to make sure that this gap between the speed of innovation and the pace of adoption closes. So on small nuclear, regenerative agriculture, all these things are key to our future, but we've got to make sure people understand them and trust the institutions that are delivering them.
I might steal that. I love that. Closing the gap between science and society. Richard, we'll reconvene on this conversation. Richard Edelman there, the CEO of Edelman. So thank you for your time and your wisdom.